Hello, everyone. So for the next few minutes, I'm going to be talking about connecting dots in Advisor Desktop, and I'll be touching upon three topics. So the first one is about the agent's dilemma when they are interacting with their customers, whether they should concentrate upon the conversation or to look at it from the case point of view. What if I tell you that you can do both together, side by side, where you can do the conversation or you look at the cases in a very smooth fashion. So here in the middle section, you see the conversation stream, where you see the current interaction in focus. You also see all the interactions that this customer had, maybe with different agents and maybe through different channels. Remember that the customer on the other side is the same, so it's pretty important that this current interaction which the agent is having, and the agent should be fully aware of what all happened just beforehand. Maybe the customer called in a few minutes back, or they sent in an SMS message. So if the agent doesn't know about it, then the interaction is going to be very disjoint, and it could be a bad experience for both the customer and the agent. Going back, on the third pane, you see the list of cases. You can look at the open cases at the top and the closed cases at the bottom. You can also look at all the activities across all the cases in a single view, or you can drill down case by case and look at the activities for a particular case. So basically, you can do both at the same time. The second topic that I want to touch upon is the real estate. So we know that agents use multiple tools across their workday in order to interact with their customers. We have thought about this problem, and we have come up with some solutions. First one is Flex. So with Flex, our framework, what it provides you with the ability to add custom panes inside the Advisor Desktop. So let's say your other tools are a web application or a web page that you are referring to while you are interacting with the customer, and it has a URL, then you can embed that URL inside the Advisor Desktop. You can go a step further and add some custom parameters, if it's possible, to the URL in order to make the pane show information in a very context-driven way. And at the third level, you can also add some messaging sugar on top of it using our messaging layer to exchange messages with the Advisor Desktop. So how do you do it? You go to our admin tool, and you add your custom pane just by providing a URL. And if you can make use of some custom context, then you can pass it in the URL itself. And then we have to write some code if you want to exchange messages with the Advisor Desktop. So that's Flex. And once you have added the pane, or if you have not added the pane, but you just want to rearrange the desktop, you go to this UI, where you can configure your layout. Now, you can do it at the global level, but you can also do it at the user level. Because remember, it can happen that agents in one geography have different set of monitors or different resolutions, multiple monitors, single monitor. So you may want to do it at user level as well. So what we provide you with is the ability to remove certain panes or add certain other panes, bring them up in front, rearrange the frames on the left side, right side, as you feel like. And then, if you have multiple monitors, you can actually stretch the browsers so that you can rearrange and extend the whole desktop with a very rich experience. So at the minimal, in this one, you have one big pane, the knowledge pane, because you're not interested in any other panes, right? So you're using eGain Knowledge and AI for calls, for example, and the calls is from another system, maybe. So you're giving the whole space to the knowledge and AI. But you can still use all the goodies that Advisor Desktop provides you, like internal chat and messaging and other stuff. That's one extreme. If you have a better resolution monitors, then you can actually take out a few panes. Remember, the default is 3 panes, but in this case, the agent has 4 panes. So you can take out a certain pane that is of importance to you. It could be your custom pane or one of our panes, and then you can lay out on a single monitor with high resolution. If you have 2 monitors, you can stretch it And then in this case, for example, you can put the conversation on one monitor and the context on another monitor. And remember, since everything is connected, as you switch the activities, all the information is in context. So that's Flex. But again, remember that you needed to have a web application or a web page that you can embed using a URL, et cetera, et cetera. And it could take time. If you don't have it, you'd have to build it. That's kind of problems. So another way that you can do it, and probably a simpler way, is where you can have the two applications separate, but if you could possibly inject some of our JavaScript into the third-party application. For example, in our demo stations, we are showing the integration with Dynamics 365. So the way we do it is you can go to Dynamics 365 admin tool. You can inject our JavaScript inside it. The JavaScript is a very tiny JavaScript. The only thing it does is it enables a messaging channel between the two applications. So your Dynamics 365 on its own, you're not embedding that inside eGain. eGain Advisor Desktop on its side, you're not embedding Advisor Desktop inside Dynamics, so no friction. As long as you are able to inject a JavaScript on the other side, Dynamics 365 or a homegrown CRM or any other system of record that you're using, then the messaging channel can be established. And what it enables you to do is, for example, you can select an activity on Advisor Desktop, and you can pass the contact details to the other side, like the phone number or email address or the messaging ID. And then the other side, you can use that information to look up more information like account or contact or orders or any other information of that nature, right? That way, Duo can be achieved in a single day with a simple integration, if it's possible in that case, right? But you could have a legacy CRM system, it may not be possible. So case by case, you can look at whether this makes sense to you. And the third topic, and the final one that I wanted to touch upon, is about bringing intelligence inside Advisor Desktop. So here is an example where we are connecting more dots, more of our own dots inside Advisor Desktop. So many of you would be using our virtual assistant on the customer-facing side. Here, we have brought the virtual assistant inside Advisor Desktop. So in the middle, you have the chat conversation going on, right? All the messages coming in from the customer inside Advisor Desktop. The virtual assistant is listening to those chat messages which are happening in the chat pane. It's not going to bother you unless it's very confident, okay? So don't worry about that. Once it figures out that, okay, I understand this intent of this problem at a greater confidence level, then it's going to propose some solutions. Now the solutions, what it's doing is now using our knowledge. So chat messages, virtual assistant, our knowledge. So article content or process guidance is going to suggest to you all that. So we are connecting those three together to give you a very rich experience. Now the agents don't have to do anything. They're chatting very vigorously with their customer, and the virtual assistant is listening. For example, the example that we show here is about the compliance. So it may be very important for the agents to know, right? And the virtual assistant is listening in, is going to propose that solution. And then the agent will be attracted to it, and they have to do some action, take some action in that situation. So this is our intelligence that we have brought in, but you can bring in your own intelligence, because we are publishing all these messages, right? So if you have a custom pane, you can also listen to the chat messages as they are coming in and going out. And you can connect to any other service and then provide some feedback and suggestions back to the agent. But again, you'll need that custom pane to actually, in order to do that. Or you can do it using Duo on the third-party application as well. You'll receive the message, but then what you do with the message would be up to you. If you can show some information on that side, you can do that. Or there could be one simple thing. At least you can send back a message to us, and which will pop up this small intelligent bubble on the side. So based on your service provider, you found some information, you send, okay, let me send this information back to the agent, and it will show up on the Advisor Desktop. So those are a few examples of how we are bringing intelligence in, connecting few of our dots and your dots inside the Advisor Desktop. All right, so those were the three topics I wanted to cover. And thank you very much. And this evening, from 4:30 onwards, we are going to have a workshop on desktop. So we will have consultants there. So if you have your own problems, then you want to discuss, and we can suggest some options using our tools or your tools, feel free to join us there. All right, thank you so much. Have a great rest of the day.